Okay, we are now recording. Welcome to the Senior Citizen Tax Deferral Roundtable. As I said before I started recording, this will be posted to our website and also shared with you guys to share with your staff. Please try to keep yourselves muted, just so there's no background noise on the recording. However, feel free to I'm leading this discussion, but this is for everyone. Anybody can join, chime in about anything at any time. So um, feel free to unmute yourselves whenever and contribute to the discussion. I wanted to start with, on or around December 1st. I think last year December 1st fell on a weekend, so we didn't send this out uh, till the Monday. But on or around December 1st every year, we send you an email. We send it to the list of treasurers on the Illinois County Treasurers Association website, which, by the way, there are a few typos in your list on there because we get some bounce backs every time. But we send it to that list of 102 treasurers, and we ask that you guys share that with your staffs. We understand that not all of you treasurers are the ones that deal directly with this, but we don't want to start, adding multiple people for everybody to the list. You guys can just share it with your staff. We send you the packet every year. Um, you know, we don't send you the actual hard copy documents anymore. Everything is done electronically, so you guys can print the forms that you need. The due date for the applications to be returned is March 1st every year. And I just want to, you guys will probably hear this a lot of times today, but this is a county program that the Department of Revenue pays you guys for. So a lot of the questions and things that come our way are questions that you guys should be able to answer yourselves, because once again, it's your program. If you guys want to let somebody in the program, then there's very few reasons we're going to deny somebody that you have approved. Now, I mentioned we email this to all of the treasurers. All of these forms are also on our website. That link is in the packet we send you every year. The username and password are included in that packet. So there should be no reason for anybody to need to email us with um, requests for the documents. We email them out and they're all on our website. Um, we need both forms completed, and we'll get into each of these forms. I know part of the reason for this is you guys want some training, so we're going to be going through all the forms line by line, but they must complete both forms. You guys need to review every form and make sure that they qualify, that they've provided all the information that they need to provide, and that all of the pieces of information on the form have been completed. Every year we get more and more forms with incomplete information, blanks, whatever. You guys need to start reviewing that before you send it in. Uh, it's going to come back to you either way, so you might as well take the time on the front end to get that all, um, to look into all of that. We need you guys to mail those documents to the address below. Make sure you include that mail code. And we ask that they all be forwarded together. So all three documents, or both documents for each person, are uh, together, and then you put those in alphabetical order by last name. Uh, Once again, not only are we getting forms that are not completely filled out, we're having missing forms altogether, or forms that are not sent in any order, and we've got to try to piece together. you know, some counties that's easier than others. Some of you have just a couple participants, others have a lot of participants, and we're trying to match the 1017 at the top of the pile with the 1018 from the middle of the pile. Just keep everything together. Like we said, do it alphabetically and send that all into us. Uh, and then, we don't need to get into that last dot point there. Um, but I wanted to go through that briefly. That comes to you every year in our email. So this should not be the first time that you guys have seen this document either. So we will go ahead and start with the 1017. Can you guys see that okay? Let me zoom in. Once again, you guys have seen this form before, so hopefully hopefully you can see that are okay on my screen, but if not, maybe you guys have one in front of you already. As far as eligibility information on the 1017, they need to be 65 or older as of June 1st of 2026. So they need to answer these three questions. They need to be marked yes on all three of these in order to qualify. Also, they need to let us know, you need to let us know if it's the first year they've applied for the program, and then what kind of property ownership it is. We need the PIN number, their social security number, date of birth, phone number, name, address, all that information that is there. If applicable, we also need the spouse's information. Also, I want to point out the way the law is written. This is just a spouse arrangement. So a live-in, a brother and sister, things like that, that is not covered by this program. Strictly for spouses. We need to know the household income, and there's a worksheet on the back of the application where they fill that out and figure that out. Number two, the information, some of the information comes from the PTAX 1035 annual participant list that we mail to you guys in December of each year. They also need to write the percentage or the amount that they wish to defer. That's anything from 1% to 100%. The amount cannot be more than $7,500. This is something that, I mentioned that we get applications that aren't completely filled out. This piece of information is something that's skipped over frequently. They also need to sign it, and not only do they need to sign it, but you guys, your office needs to sign it as well. You are signing off that they have provided everything. They've proved that they have all the necessary information, and that you agree that they qualify for the program and that everything is complete. You guys need to sign that. And if it were me, I'd want to make sure they have all that information before signing it. Sorry, this is not scrolling very well. So we mentioned, they need to calculate the.
Hey, Aaron, we've got a question here out of McHenry County. Go ahead.
Okay.
Line 3 with the percentage or the amount, it's not, they can't do both. They can only do one or the other. They can't say whichever is greater. They can't say 100% or $5,500 or whatever, right? They have to say, or 7,500. They have to say,
right,
mutually exclusive. So it's one or the other, not both.
Right. Obviously, if they put, they hopefully know like roughly what their property taxes are. So unless their taxes are going to be more than that 7,500, the 100% will cover them. But not everybody wants to defer the entirety of their tax bill. So, that's up to them. But yes, they need to pick one or the other on that section.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Yes. I heard Aaron, but I can't hear anything else.
Aaron, your screen is not sharing. We can't see the 1017 form.
Okay, well, sorry about that. How about now?
I just see a blank screen.
Can you guys see the 1017? Stacy, I can barely hear you.
Aaron, it's just blank.
Oh, well, that's wonderful.
It came up on mine.
Mine too.
Okay. Well, hopefully for those of you that can't see it for whatever reason, it will, yeah, we're seeing that some are blank and some people can see it. So I don't understand why that would be.
It comes up slowly.
Okay. So now I'm on worksheet A, which is the second page of the 1017. This is where they determine their income. And if that adds up to more than $65,000, they do not qualify. So they can stop filling this out at that point. Worksheet B, which is also on this page, that's where they calculate the 80% equity interest. The main thing for you guys over here, note 2, well, for number E, not number E, letter E, including previous deferral amounts, we give that amount to you guys every year with that 1035 annual participant list. That is their balance as of December 31st of the current year. So when you guys get that, the number that they need to use for this comes from the letter we send you. We'll get to the other letter. We also send them a letter now annually in December to say, hey, this is just a reminder, you're in the program, and here's how much you owe or here's what your balance is as of December 31st. This is not a bill. What we found was that a lot of people were not sharing their participation in the program with their family members. So then someone would pass away and all of a sudden their family found out that they owed the state $100,000 or whatever for something they never knew they were in. So we send that out annually every year in December. The thought behind that was that their family may get together around the holidays and then they could share that with them and just say, hey, just so you know, I'm in this program. Here's what I owe at this time. Nothing's due until I pass away or sell the home. But we do send a letter to them as well. So they, not only do you guys have the amount of their total of previous deferrals, but they should have it as well. So we get through that calculation, and then he also with the 1017 are more in-depth instructions that answer some questions and goes through everything line by line. Are there any questions on the 1017 that we need to go through before we move on to the 1018?
Yeah, Aaron, we've got a question here out of McHenry County. Go ahead.
Okay.
For worksheet A, this is very confusing for a lot of seniors, even with their 1040. Is this basically, you're talking about adjusted gross income? Is that basically what the bottom line is, what their adjusted gross income is?
I think basically it is. There may be a couple things on here that change that. We used to have the line from the US 1040 on here, or 1040A, but then every time they change something with their form, we had to remember to update these instructions, and we didn't do a very good job of that. So we just took the line indications from this altogether, so that they could look at let's look for that information, net capital gain or loss, other income or loss, etc., to go through it. I don't think it is 100% just their federal AGI though.
Okay, so what constitutes certain subtractions? I'm looking at the general information and I'm not seeing what those certain subtractions are. So how do I know what they're putting in? Because sometimes they do, like I said, they don't understand all this stuff. So they're just they think they can put in their deductions, their personal deductions of the 1040. And I don't have a list of what is, I have a list of what is included in household income, but I don't have anything that says what are certain subtractions. So, yeah, because I don't see that on here. So what is that? What can they subtract from?
Trying to look through this to see.
Am I just, maybe I'm just not seeing it, but I don't see it on the general information. Who's eligible, what's included in income? What if I have a net operating loss or capital, but what is homestead? But there's nothing about what I can subtract.
That's a good question. Katie or Kevin, do you have anything on that, or is there something we need to look into and share with them later on?
Yeah.
You know,
Aaron,
I was just going to add to what my colleague Donna Gillette has said, and that is that when filling out this form, our take has been, it seems very kind of nebulous and open to flexibility. And, you know, maybe that is your intent in doing this. You know, we do the best we can, and we encourage, you know, the applicants to do the best they can. But, you know, if the intent is to make it somewhat flexible, then that's kind of another situation. So we wanted to acknowledge that possibility.
This is Katie. I was just going to say that we can get back to you. In looking at the worksheet A, you know, it is fairly well listed as to, you know, Social Security, pension benefits, if you have income still coming in, and then line 13 where it says that you can subtract the reported adjustments to income totaled on the US 1040, but we can look more into that with our attorney staff if you like.
Donna, you're on mute.
Thank you. We're sorry about that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, because I do know that it says it's reported on the 1040, but I don't know where. They don't know where. So I don't know what those are. And I don't know where to look for it. If you just give me a line on the 1040, then I know what to put in there or what should be in there. But because just saying, because all the other ones say, oh, 1040 for loss, 1040 for loss, 1040 for loss. Okay, I know where to find that. But on these, there's no reference for me to actually, if you just have that would be sufficient. We wouldn't have to have a whole list of things because we'd know where to look on the 1040. Because we're going to start requiring that information so I can see it. I want to see what they're, you know, because sometimes they're confused. So yeah, that would be fine. We don't have to have a whole list of things. We just need to know where we're looking on the actual 1040.
Okay, we'll definitely get something for you guys. Thank you for that question. I'm not sure I realized that that we didn't have that more clearly defined or defined at all, not even clearly defined, just not defined at all. So thank you for bringing that to our attention, and we will get you guys an answer to that question as soon as possible.
Great. Thank you.
Anything else on the 1017 before we move on to the 1018?
Hi, Aaron. I had a question about the market value in worksheet B. So that's often not filled in by the seniors. So we attempt to assist them usually, and usually we just use the assessor's valuations to do that. We have had circumstances though where the assessed valuation seems unusually low, and a senior has objected to that. And so I was wondering if we do have the discretion to consider a professional appraisal in lieu of a low assessed valuation for market value.
So it says in here, it's based on the current assessed value of the property times the fraction necessary to convert that figure to the full market value. Right, if you don't have a separate assessed value, write the market value of the land and buildings as of December 31st, 2025, as stated on the appraisal completed by a real estate appraiser. Yeah, I mean, that's kind of, yeah, we've gotten some where, we get a request for a payoff letter and then we're told that the house isn't worth what they owe. So we understand that in some of these instances, during the time of all of this, that the quality and the value of the house changes. So I don't have a good answer to that outside of what it says here on the worksheet B instructions. Yes, I see Nicholas has his hand up.
I think that that answered my question. Thank you.
Okay. Anything else on the 1017?
Yeah, we got one here from McHenry County.
Yeah, I have to, let me think, because part of the problems last year, it wasn't
the page.
Yeah, I'm on worksheet B. I'm sorry.
Okay, you're fine.
Or maybe it's page just the 1017 itself. There was something. About the limit on it's 80%. And oh, wait a minute, it can't exceed. Yeah, duh. I guess I don't know what I'm talking about right now.
Okay, well, we may want to revisit that. So
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you guys.
Sure.
Sorry for the delay.
No. That's what this is for.
Great. Thank you, Aaron.
You're welcome. All right. Can you guys see that I switched to the 1018, or is the 1017 still up on the screen?
I still see 17.
Yeah,
Okay.
so do I.
We don't see anything on the screen.
I
Oh,
do
there
have a
came a-
question about the 1017 before you move
Yes.
on. My question to you is, typically we let the taxpayers fill out the forms, and then when we find something that's a discrepancy, we ask them to bring it in. The mortgage part of this on worksheet B is typically what we usually have problems with because we're seeing stuff that's different. Are we supposed to, like, I don't want to say police, but basically follow the same rules that our assessor files for like the freeze paperwork and require with their real estate paper, their IRS paperwork and everything to complete these applications? Are we supposed to be making them or requesting that they bring in that paperwork and then also keeping a copy in our office to go with our paperwork? Because typically we haven't in the past.
Yeah, what degree of underwriting is expected from our end?
Correct.
Well, you guys, I guess that's kind of up to you, because you guys are signing the front of the page saying that you,
Okay.
you're confirming that everything on this is correct. Let's see what the applicant has provided me with sufficient evidence that the qualifying property is insured against fire or casualty loss for at least the total amount. So that's the main thing you guys are signing off on, is the insurance. But basically, you guys are sending these to us saying, we believe they qualify for the program. Here's their application. Here you go. So I guess it's kind of up to you each individually on what documentation you need to feel comfortable with that. We don't need you to send any of that on to us if you do have it. And it, once again, it's up to you, but if you want them to bring it in and show you, and then you say, okay, we don't need a copy, you can do that as well. Or if you want to have everything, then you can keep a copy of everything they bring in. So that's, a lot of that falls on you guys for what you're comfortable with. I know that's not a definitive answer that you're looking for, but that's kind of where it being a county program comes in, that each of you may have a different tolerance of what information you need, and a different requirement of what information you need.
We keep copies of the insurance stuff on file because the insurance is basically saying their dwelling is worth X amount. We do keep that. Everything else
Okay.
that we require them to bring in, we view some of the stuff, but we don't keep it on hand. At any point, would us as the treasurer's office be challenged by you, the state, that would require us to prove something that we signed off on? It would be our concern as treasurer.
Right. I don't, this is year 7 for me, and that hasn't happened yet. Now, that doesn't mean it's never happened. Uh, I understand the question and the concern. I don't know that the scenario that would have to happen for us to come back after you guys and ask for that. Um, so I, once again, I don't fully know how to answer that, because it just hasn't come up in my time in this role. And I'm not aware of what's come up previously, if it's come up previously or not either. Don't see that happening.
I've been here 38 years, and I've been doing deferrals as long as I've been working for Will County. Challenge, no, but we have concerns because we have a lot of deferrals that aren't paid off, which is what we contacted you guys about in the
Sure.
beginning, because there are a lot that are sitting in our, what I would call our dead file, that could actually end up being a challenge if we're expected to have to go back and collect on these that have never been paid. And that's my concern moving forward, if that would come up.
Well, and we're going to kind of get into that later, as far as, steps we're taking. Ultimately, they owe us the money, so I'm not sure how much we would be going after you.
Okay,
Uh,
that's fine. That answers my question. And basically, you're just relying on us to make sure that what we sign is correct, and I'm okay with that.
yes.
Thanks. You can, I'm good.
Okay.
Okay, we've got another question here out of McHenry County.
Okay.
Yeah, this is the one I couldn't figure out before, but it's on worksheet B, right? Note 2 says the collector must verify that the total deferral for the applicant, including all previous deferrals, has not exceeded 80%, which is line 5, right?
Yes.
So that 80% that is not just this 80% on line 5, it's that including what their current deferral would be, right? I think that's a little ambiguous, because if we're just looking at 80%, which is line 5, that doesn't include this next year. So there's the possibility it could go over 80%, depending on what this year is going to look like. So which figure is it? Is it just the 80% from line 5, or is it the 80% including the 2025 tax, whatever they're going to pay, the deferral amount?
It's 80% previous to this year. So you're looking at what is 80% up to now. So don't worry about the 2025 number.
Okay.
I mean, I understand the 2025.
It's just line 5.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
Thank you very much. Okay.
Yeah, and
You're welcome.
that's what I was looking at. It doesn't say anything about you know, the current year.
Okay,
So
okay.
it's just going to be like, as Katie said, just the prior years.
Okay, that's great.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, I don't think there is a lot to talk about on the 18, but I'm going to go ahead and bring that up now. And we can always go back to the 17 if some other questions come up. But basically on the 1018, we just need the names and the PIN and the legal description of the property. And then they need to sign this document, and then you guys are signing off on this as well. Like I said, I don't think that there's really too much to go over on this other than please keep this with the 17 in the pile that you send in for your county.
Do you know what the percentage is going to be this year? Will it still be 3?
Yes, it's still 3.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. So we always send in the blank voucher as well. We send in an example for your lien fee. So you guys have those documents. You know, we're going to talk about it later, but since I mentioned lien fee, we get a lot of questions about can these all be released at once, or do they have to be released separately? Since each year is a separate lien, we release them separately, but this is where you know, it's your program. If you want to waive the lien release fee and only charge them for one, you guys can do that. That's up to you. We did want to discuss the possibility of changing our letter to do it in one release, but we felt like we wanted to get all counties on board with that. All 102 of you. I know not all of you have participants, so maybe 102 isn't the right number. But we just wanted to make sure that you all wanted that, and if not, then each county can do that individually. If you so choose. But we're going to release them individually, and then you guys can decide, hey, you've got 10 releases here. We're only going to charge you one lien release fee. That's not our fee, so that has nothing to do with us. If you guys want to reduce that or combine it in any way.
Yeah. We don't release them.
So is that something you guys are interested in having us release those all as one? Or do you guys want to just handle that on your end on whether or not you guys want to charge them 10 release fees or one?
Aaron, what is recorded? Is there anything recorded in the form of a lien in multiples, or do you record one?
We record one each year. There's one
You
lien
do?
each year. Yes.
Okay, well, most county recorders are going to require a release for each lien.
And that's
So-
how we do it now. And we've had some contact us to say, hey, do you have to do this separately?
Yeah.
And we do, because that's how the liens were placed. But
Mhm.
so I think what we're going to do is continue to release them individually. And if you guys on your end want to combine those and only charge one release fee, then that's on you.
All right,
But we don't want to dictate that to anyone.
thank you.
Yep, great.
Aaron, Becky Springer, DeKalb County. I am one of the ones that would love to have them all on one because I don't have the ability to waive the fees. My county clerk is the one that is charging those fees, and they don't. So yeah, with these applicants that do this for multiple years, 5, 10, years, at the 10-year mark, at $74, the recording fee, that's $740. I don't have the ability to waive it. So, I would love to see it all on one. And, my clerk wants to charge the fees and get the revenue. So it's not up to the treasurers to waive the fees. So that's why I'm a proponent of one. These are senior citizens at this point, and we're here to help them. So that's my opinion on that.
I'm gonna
Yeah, I
check.
apologize. When I said you guys, I just meant, the county, not the treasurer specifically. But yeah, I understand that not everybody is going to have the same opinion of that.
I'm gonna consult with my state's attorney and the recorder. If you attach if there were 10 releases, the big fee is for the first page, and then they charge so much for each additional page of a document. Maybe they can be included together in that form, but I need verification from somebody smarter than I am.
Well, and our cover letter says, here's the lien releases for tax years, whatever, 2000, 2001,
Okay.
each year that we're releasing. And then we have, if there's 20 years being released, then 20 separate releases follow, but it's all in one. They're all listed on the cover letter as,
Right.
in one list. And then we have the releases for each individual one that we send out to them.
Again, Becky Springer, I'm going to take Kurt Newport's advice and tell you all I am not a lawyer and I am not your lawyer. But I come from the banking world and mortgage lending, and I can tell you that we can include multiple doc numbers on one release. It's the document number that you're releasing. And so again, feel free to check with your state's attorneys, but I know that I have done that in the past for my borrowers as well. So yes, you can do multiple docs on one lien release.
I also wanted to show you guys, we used to have a brochure that we sent you guys. There's now this PDF on our website that answers a lot of the frequently asked questions about the program. So you guys do have access to that on our website. We also will send that to you with the annual packet. But we've got a lot of information on there, and we're trying to get more information on our website. So we're going to go to that here shortly and show you where everything is listed. So I had mentioned the annual letter we send you in December with the annual participant info. This is just a template of it, but this is what we send you guys every year. It's going to list each participant in your county and their balance. So, two different things you can use this for. Number one, we already went over with the 1017. You can give them their previous year's total off of this letter. But another thing that we run into is that when we send these lien releases out, either to the participant or their title company or to you guys, whomever you direct us to send those to, it's then on the participant or their representative to file those releases with the county, which doesn't always happen. So one thing you guys may want to use this annual letter for is to compare your records to this list And if somebody that you guys have in the program isn't listed here, that's going to mean that they've paid it off. We've sent the lien releases and they just haven't filed them with you. What you want to do with that information, whether you want to, contact the participant or your recorder's office or whatever you want to do. I just think that that would probably be a valuable piece of information to you guys for you guys to have if we know that something's paid off. And because the releases haven't been filed, you guys don't yet know that. That may be, if you're not already using this for that, that may be something good for you to start doing. Obviously, I understand that some of you have more participants than others, so that's a bigger lift for some of you than for others. So I did want to show you guys for the last, I don't know, 5 years or so, I told you we've been sending the annual statement to the participants. Anybody with a balance, we send them this letter. We did make a change this year though, after our meeting with Tim and Julie, we were talking about the people who have transferred their property and either that a title search was not completed for whatever reason, or one was completed and uh, the title company missed these liens. We do have properties out there where the current resident is not the participant in the program, but the liens stay with the property, not with the participant. So one change we made this year, when this letter goes out, you can see here in the address line, we've added or current resident. Our hope is that instead of those being returned to us by the post office, the current resident will get it. We've added a section here. Let me get to where did we? Well, I thought. Okay, here, what if I'm not listed as not the listed recipient? It says if you're the current resident and not the listed recipient, contact the county collector's office to determine the exact property tax settlement amount. Payment should be submitted to the county collector's office. The liens stay with the property, so this balance is the responsibility of the current owner. So we're trying to now notify the current owner that this is out there, that it's on the property. I'm sure they won't necessarily be happy about that, but it's probably better to find out now than when they go to transfer their property and find out that the liens are on it. This is going to be the first time that information is on the letter. So we'll see what comes of that. And if you guys would, now I know we directed them to contact you guys. So we're open to feedback from what kind of response you guys get. And then we'll, take that into consideration as well as any responses we get directly from those current residents and move forward based on that feedback and that information that we receive. So I'm not sure if you guys knew about this letter or have seen it before. Obviously, I sent you a copy with the meeting invitation, but we're going to see if adding or current resident helps at all with this. I don't know how many questions you guys get when we send out this letter. You can see right at the top, it says this is not a bill. But we get a lot of phone calls as soon as this goes out. I'm sure you guys do as well. But hopefully all of these people, I know, sometimes, unfortunately, some of these participants are not as sharp as they once were and may not remember applying for the program or may not remember that they're in it. So sometimes those calls aren't the easiest to handle, but we just wanted to, like I said before, the purpose of this letter is the hope that the participants will share this information with their heirs should something happen. That way they know and hopefully aren't caught off guard that this balance is out there should their parent pass away. So that's the intention of it. Whether or not it's working that way, I'm not 100% sure. Like I said, we just started sending this out 5 or 6 years ago. Prior to that, there was no annual notice whatsoever, outside of them coming in to see you guys to reapply for the program each year. But I did want to show you guys the couple changes that we have made to that document since last year.
Aaron, so what happens to the ones that have made it through the trustee program because the homes were completely gone and now there's been a tax deed and the courts ordered all liens written off and here we are?
Good question.
Because that's what I have. I have one and that is the one I have. These people are long dead and gone. Their lien is far greater than what that property ever surmounted to when it went to the trustee and sealed bid auction. I mean, it's all gone. There's nothing to be had for it. So now what?
Well, if a judge rules that all liens be expunged, then send that ruling to us, and we'll have to do that on our end as well.
Okay.
So unfortunately, hopefully that doesn't happen often, but when it does, then the state's the one that takes the hit on that, and you know, unfortunately, that's probably going to happen. But like I said, hopefully it doesn't happen very frequently.
Aaron, I think our questions. We have several that have been sitting for years and years without repayment. In this case here, went into foreclosure in 2014. Sheriff's deed was issued in 2016. And then a special warranty deed issued to a new homeowner in 2017. Nobody picked up these liens. And so there's $25,000 that just is owed to the state. So the question becomes, we learn of these, we know now, we've done the research on each one of ours. Who does the statute prescribe collection efforts? It's the money's owed to the state, but as before, like you told us, we have the responsibility for doing some underwriting before signing the deferral application. Who now is responsible for chasing these that appear to owe the state money?
It's our responsibility to chase down that money since it's owed to us. The statute doesn't provide the method to do that. So there's not, and when you and I spoke before, and just, I mean, I know that you know this, and I assume everybody on the call knows this, but I will say that the participants, they don't have to apply every year. It's possible that somebody applied years ago for 1 or more years, but has stopped doing it. They're still alive. They still own the property. So nothing is due.
Right.
They are continuing to have, and I know this isn't um, the only scenario that you're seeing, but
Yeah.
I did want to address this one where, nothing's due until they pass away or they transfer the property. So there could be 20 or more years of interest building up when they haven't been in the program for a decade or more. And in that case, there's really nothing for us to do. We send them the annual statement every year. Uh, excuse me. So they hopefully know that there is still a balance. But then for the ones where, a transfer has taken place and nothing was done, like I said, hopefully the letter we send out in December will get to some of those people, but there's still going to be a subset of people that um, the balance is out there. The property's been transferred 1 or more times, and there's a balance due, and ultimately that falls to us to track that down.
Do you get any
And
support from the Attorney General's office? Is this something they can, because some of these are very easily with an application to a title company. That's why the insurance is there.
Right.
There may be claims, easy claims that we can collect some of this.
Yes, the AG's office in the last couple years has, and let me phrase, I want to make sure They may have been active before and those emails and calls just weren't coming to me. But I have been working with the AG's office a lot more in the last year or two on these participants and these properties than in my previous years in this role.
Okay.
So yes, they are becoming more active in that. So I guess if you guys have a list of properties, I know you do,
Yeah.
but if anybody else has a list of these properties where they've been transferred, there's still a balance due, um, please give those to me and I will share those with the AG's office and we can talk about what steps we want to take to try to track those down and try to get, even if we can get something back, that's, something's better than nothing.
Yeah.
So if
Okay.
you
So
guys have a list like that, if you'd share that with me, I'd appreciate it.
but to be clear, our responsibility ends at simply identifying the issue for you. No collection effort. We're not supposed to contact them, call title companies, act as a collector otherwise would. This is state activity.
Right. Yeah, the money is owed to the state, so you guys have enough on your plate. You don't need to be our muscle. I mean, if you want to help, feel free, but that's by no means are you required to do that or expected to do that.
Fair enough. Thank you.
Alan, this is McHenry County again. Can we go back to the current owner thing?
Yes.
So you're saying that the title was never transferred and the money now, the lien is now attached to the property, so they owe it. And you're going to refer them to us if they have a question. And what is it exactly that we're giving them? Just information on how it happened? But I'm just not sure what I'm supposed to tell them when they call.
Just the balance.
Okay.
Yeah, just the balance, although the letter gives them the balance.
Okay.
Okay.
And if they're going to pay, they can pay you directly.
Okay.
And whether or not, I don't know how many of them will contact you directly, how many will contact us, how many will just say we don't owe this and throw it away and we never hear from them again. Like I said, this is our first time adding that piece to this letter. So we're all kind of flying blind on this, and then we'll be able to reassess after these letters go out to see how we want to handle that moving forward.
Okay. All right. Sorry. I should have gotten.
Oh, you're fine.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Trying to see what other documents. So we also, we've created 2 new documents. These are on our website once again. The first one, this is for the when you're making a payment, and they, if they are paying us directly, they will have access to this as well, or the title companies, whomever. When we're getting payments, we don't always receive all the information we need. So we've created this document, the hopes of making it easier for everyone. We need the name and address, the PIN number, the date the payment's received. If they mail it to your office, we give them credit. We ask that you give them credit for the postmark date as the date the payment is being made. The tax year's payment applies to. If it's not paid in full, we go to the oldest first. And so then if it doesn't cover the full balance, then the newer year or years are the ones that will have a balance left. But if there's a certain year, in some cases, there's a certain year they want it applied to, or obviously there's tax correction notices that you guys send out to them that change the balance due. So that would mean, you're asking us to apply it to a certain tax year, but we're asking for that information as well. And then we're also asking for the name and address the lien releases should be mailed to, if different than above. We want to make sure that those are going to the proper, whether it's an heir or a title company or you guys, whomever it is, we want to make sure we're sending those lien releases to the proper person. And then finally, for you guys only, hopefully, each month you can retain a $50 treasurer's fee from the payment. If you don't receive any payments that month, then there's no treasurer fee to to withhold. If you only receive one $50 payment, we are not set up to be able to credit them for you guys to say, hey, they paid $50, but we kept $50. So you need to apply a $50 payment to their account, even though we're not sending you anything. And you can only do it one time a month. That's not once per participant. That's once per county. So if you receive 50 payments, you can take $50 one time. And if you receive one payment, you can take $50 from it, as long as it's not a $50 or less payment. But we need to know whether or not that has been withheld from the payment you are sending us. So please make sure to check that box, because that information, we're going to reach out to you again once the payment posts and we see a balance due on the account. So you can just save us both time by letting us know that you're retaining that fee. So we've created that form. It's on our website. We also have created a form when you're requesting a payoff amount. And once again, that's not for you, not only for you guys. The participant will have access to this, as will any title companies or anyone else. A lot of times when you guys ask us for a payoff amount, you give us you know, a lot of extra information that we don't need, but then you forget some of the information we do need. So simply, this is all that we need when you're requesting a payoff. If you don't want to use the form and want to email us, that's fine, but this is the only information we need: their name and address, the PIN number on the property, and then the payoff date. We cannot do prior, we can't do past dates. If you don't provide a date, we do it for today's date. And then, as you guys probably know, there is a daily per diem listed on the letter that can be used for anything past that payoff date. But if you know and they know that they're going to be paying this off on December 15th, then tell us December 15th and we'll generate the payoff letter for that date. So those two letters are new here in the last, we just got one the other day. We just put it on our website in the last couple weeks. So those are new. We're going to start using those as well. So we're trying to, those are just a few of the changes we've made this year. Let me go ahead and show you where this information is at on our website. All right, can you guys see that website?
Not yet.
Okay. There we go. So this is LTAD's website. If you scroll down to resources, by the way, make sure to check out our newsletter.
There it is. Okay.
Okay. So yeah, this is the LTAD webpage. If you scroll down to the bottom under resources, one of the last things listed, the Senior Citizens Real Estate Tax Deferral Program information. And right now we just have the three things on there, which are the FAQs. And then we also have the document to use when you make a payment and the document to use when you're making a payoff request. We don't actually have the application and those documents there because we don't want just anybody to be able to access those and send them in, skipping your office or, anytime you put a document online, as you guys are, I'm sure, are aware, who knows who's going to use it and what they're going to send in and where they're going to send it. So just to avoid any confusion there, we do not have the application and supporting documentation on our website here. We did have the link in the instruction packet where they are available to you guys with a login and a password.
I just want to say, Aaron, if you're more than welcome to accept these applications yourself and skip my office entirely, and I'm not going to have a problem with that.
I'm sure you're not, and I'm sure nobody else on the call would have a problem with that either. I don't plan on doing that though. Sorry.
All right. Hey, it's worth a
Thanks for
shot.
the offer though. So I'm just looking through, I guess the only thing, until we get into open discussion, that I have skipped over from the agenda, other than completely not going in the order I came up with last week at all, is just the step-by-step discussion of the application. Oh, wrong one. Discussing our process and paying the tax bills. We do not pay you guys based on the due date of the property taxes. We pay you guys once you've sent us the tax bills. We get those processed, and then those typically are paid in the next allocation cycle, depending on when you send those in during the month. If we've already missed a deadline in our computer program, then it may be the following month. But that's how those get paid. We got a question from a county this year wanting to know when we were going to pay the tax bills, and they hadn't even been sent to us yet. So we can't pay them until you guys send them to us. And, we can't pay that. We don't pay them. We don't do any special payment process as far as to meet a due date or a deadline. It's just, it goes out with your regular, your monthly allocation with the income tax and use tax and cannabis use tax payments. That's when you will receive your senior deferral payments as well. So I just wanted to clarify that. We've had taxpayers directed to us wanting to know why we haven't paid their bill yet. And once again, we don't even have the tax bills yet. So I know everybody wants to get rid of the angry caller, but there's nothing we can do until we've received those bills. So I guess all I'm asking is that we kind of work together on that, and you guys get those sent in as soon as you can, and we'll get them processed as soon as we can. And we'll try not to send anybody to the other party if the ball's not in our court yet. But hopefully you guys have something on in your computer system that will indicate that they are in the program, and that will keep a late notice from going out if they are in the program. I think that's typically the if we get an angry caller, it's typically because they've received a late notice and they applied to the program. So if you guys do have something, we ask that you use that function to be able to keep late notices from going out. And if you don't have that capability, hopefully that's something that you can look into. And kind of along those same lines, we talked earlier about these properties that get transferred without the senior deferral liens being paid off, or the balance being paid off and the liens being released. If you guys do have an indicator you can put in your property tax system that tells the assessor and the recorder and the clerk and tells all interested parties, hey, this person's in the senior deferral program. That way, when somebody goes to change owner information in the computer, maybe we can get a head start on contacting this new person, or in finding the previous owner or their heirs, rather than 5 and 10 years down the road, it's going to be harder to find that person. So if there's something you can put in your system that says this property is in the deferral program, and now we're being asked to change the owner's name of this property, then maybe that's something that can be done to try to stop these property transfers without the balance being paid.
So Aaron, and this is for the benefit of my colleagues here. This is what we do in Boone County, is as soon as we generate the tax bills, we go ahead and post payments for the parcels that are in the senior deferral program. We post a batch, and as far as our tax software knows, these are paid. So, no mortgage company, doesn't go out online. There's nothing due on this parcel as soon as the bills are made public. We also do not send them a regular tax bill. We print their tax bills, but we print them in-house. We mark them paid, and we send them out so that they're not paying these accidentally, or some mortgage company isn't paying them accidentally. And that all, of course, I'm betting on to come. I'm counting on Aaron to come through with a check eventually. But I mean, in 17 years, that's never not happened. So, um, that's just how we handle it in Boone County.
Will County will tell the taxpayers when they come and fill out their paperwork that we're holding back their tax bills. We don't mail them until we have the funds. We usually never have a problem with getting the funds shortly after because we turn in our paperwork way ahead of time. But only bills that we do send out are the ones that are over the amount that the state will pay. And we've never had an issue with that. Now, the problem we have is we do have a system because we have our own IT department that we can mark every single one of our seniors as in the deferral program. So everybody can know that. But we have other departments like the assessor's office and the recorder's office that will do their job duties based on what their job duties are. And they don't have to notify the treasurer's office. And so, we don't get those notifications. So we end up having to research a lot of this on our own. So just saying, that's how Will County does it. We can't post it as paid because we just can't do it that way, but we do hold the bills back. We find a lot of times if we don't, because we do have so many that participate, that the seniors forget they qualified for the program. They end up sending a payment to us too, and then we have a duplicate payment. So that's why we hold the bills back, but that's how Will County does it.
Curtis, you must not have any that are over the max deferral amount, correct?
Oh, we have had a few, and in those cases, we will post a partial payment and then send out a bill indicating how much is still due.
Got it.
We also wanted, since we're all together, we wanted to kind of have an open discussion. I've got listed here best practices, which, Boone and Will counties kind of gave some of their steps that they take. I don't know how many of you do the same or similar as either of those, but I guess one thing that I'm interested in are hearing about things that need improved specifically from my end. If there's something that doesn't work or doesn't work well that we can try to make better, I'd like to do that. I don't recall anything really being indicated to me previously on things that we need to do better. I'm sure there are some. So I guess here's your chance to kind of talk about some of those things, and we can before these applications go out and before people start coming into your office to apply, we can try to talk through some of those things that we can do better, so it can hopefully be better for this tax year for you guys. So is there anything that that you guys have that you just feel doesn't work at all or as well as it could? And I'm all ears.
I think that letter going out to the participants annually, since you started doing that, that has helped a lot.
Good. I'm glad to hear that.
Aaron, Becky Springer again, DeKalb County. I just have a question on how we should proceed when somebody passes away, and technically, they have 1 year to pay it off. So how do we handle this? So, for example, I have two in this situation where the person has passed away, the deed has not been transferred. The funds have not been paid off. they're paying their current taxes, but not the, how do we, are we collecting on this? Or, I send a letter, but it just goes ignored. Is that something we turn over to you, or do we just sit and wait?
I mean, you can definitely turn it over to us. It's one of those things where obviously if we know the specific ones, then we don't have a letter right now that we send. Maybe we need to look into developing something for those situations. Obviously we could send, our payoff letter to them. But yeah, there's not really a great process right now. That's definitely something that probably should happen. I know it says, they have 1 year to pay it, but we're not at their door on day 366 and saying, hey, you had a year and you didn't pay it, so where's our check? I mean, I think that's probably the most difficult thing here is that nobody, um, we don't want to take somebody's house. We haven't taken somebody's house, to the best of my knowledge, from this program, and it's kind of a fine line to walk between, hey, we know your dad just died, but you have this tax bill to the state of Illinois for $100,000. We know you're living in the house right now, but you need to pay this. So yeah, it's kind of a tough situation, and something that we probably uh, need to develop if not a process, at least a letter or something that could be sent in that scenario. And just so you guys are aware, we don't have official payment plans, but we'll accept any payment in any amount at any time. Uh, so if they come directly to you and say, hey, I want to pay $50 a month, that's fine. There's nothing that says, like, there's not a penalty since it's not an official payment plan. If they miss a month or whatever, there's not a penalty or anything that happens if they miss that. But um, that's definitely an option. You can direct them to, and I don't know, maybe the answer is to, if you could share that letter with me so I can see what you guys send out, and maybe there's something, like I said, maybe there's something we can develop, or there's something that we can ask you to add to your letter um, to kind of help with the process. But if any point, that heir does contact you and say, hey, what do I do? I'm living in this house. I don't have $100,000 to pay the state. You can have them contact us, either by email or by phone, and we can talk through various options with them and try to work something out. There's also, they have the opportunity to uh, make an offer to settle. Typically, we are willing to waive the interest, but the tax and the lien fees are typically what we're going to try to make sure that we collect. But once again, something's better than nothing. But if you can just put them in contact with us, we can talk to them about making payments and/or um, requesting a waiver of some of the balance and making a settlement offer just to get it off the books and get something from that situation. Because some of these actually, and it's not quite as bad now that the interest rate has decreased to 3%, but some of these participants that have been in for years and years and years, they actually owe more in interest than they do the tax amount. So they get scared off by that. But if we end up waiving some or all of that interest, then it becomes a lot more um, doable for them in that scenario. So just, if you guys are contacted by those people, feel free to put them in touch with me, and we can talk through that.
Aaron,
Yes.
this is Leanne with McLean County. So first of all, I love that you're putting the current owner on the new participant letter, because we do have several that have been transferred with the whoever not finding the lien. So I think that might help with the current owner to be like, oh, hey, we got to look into this. And also, I want to thank you for doing the collecting of this too, because we really don't have the time or the manpower to put somebody on this to go after these people that haven't paid. And then also for the lien release request, well, like having the one lien release with all years on it, are you just wanting to do one way? Like it's either all on one or all individual, or is that something that we can ask for at the time of payoff?
Yeah, I think we need to do it one way. Um, and it sounds like not everybody, not every county, not every treasurer, but not every county is on board with doing it as one. It sounds like there's some possibilities of ways you guys can get around that, but I think it sounds like what we're going to do moving forward is to continue to do it how we're doing it, with each release done individually as one packet. And then if you guys on your end want to waive some or all of those lien release fees, then you're welcome to do that. And we don't need to be, you don't need to tell us that. That's not information that we need. But since not everybody's on board, we're not going to change our letter to be all releases on as one.
Okay. And we are like other counties that we don't have control over that. That would be up to the recorder's office,
Right.
whether they would waive any of those fees. So I think for us, it would be better if the participants' years are all on one, and then they just have the one release fee.
Right.
Okay, well, thank you for doing this roundtable. It has been very interesting, and I've learned a lot.
You're welcome. Oh, one thing I just remembered, I don't want to throw anybody under the bus, but I believe all of the documents you guys need for this program are included in what we send you, or we have them available. I know it says in the program that the state wants to be in first position on these liens. Um, if there's already an existing lien holder or a debtor, um, then we will accept the secondary position. Um, Somebody generated a letter. They were trying to get an applicant to get their lender to agree to switch positions with us, and when their lender wouldn't do that, they didn't approve them for the deferral program. That's not something you need to do. If it was, we would provide that letter for you, but that's not something that needs to be done. Like I said, we're willing to, if we're already in first position, we're not going to change that for another lender. But if there is already someone in first position, then we don't require that they switch positions with us as part of this program. So I just wanted to point that out as well. If you think there's something that you need that you don't have, before you generate a letter or some sort of correspondence for your participants, please reach out to us and let us know what you're looking for, and we can let you know if that's something that's required, and if it is, if we already have something that you can use for that, rather than creating your own correspondence.
With that, I have a question. Then would you allow a reverse mortgage?
Yeah, that was my question. Oh, good.
Usually tell people no if they have a reverse mortgage.
It all depends on that 80% equity. They can, if they qualify, then whether it's a reverse mortgage or whatever they have, if they meet the qualifications, then they can be in the program.
Okay, thank you.
And we've gotten questions before also, where if somebody's filed bankruptcy, if they qualify for the program, if they meet all the requirements, the fact that they've declared bankruptcy previously does not stop them from being in the program. Now, whether or not they'll be able to meet those qualifications with that 80% threshold, that's another question. But if they do meet all of those requirements, then regardless of, you know, what type of mortgage they have or whether or not they've had a bankruptcy before, those don't impact their ability to be in the program.
Aaron, the reverse mortgage question is again one that depends on underwriting. In the case of the HECM loans, which are HUD insured, they record 2 mortgages for the full value of their appraisal. So a $200,000 house is going to have $400,000 of liens on it. So if we do the underwriting, there's no way they'll qualify. But the balance of that reverse might only be 50 grand. So there's some training and information that's necessary there, because it appears to the world that there are twice as many liens as far as value on the home, just to keep the wolves away from seniors. That's why they do that. I don't know if private reverse mortgages do that, but the HECMs do that, which are the most popular, and the home equity conversion mortgages. So it depends on how we're instructed to underwrite. Do we underwrite based on lien, or do we underwrite based on balance? I think in a regular mortgage, we're underwriting based on balance. So then it just requires a little more detail of the limits, because some HECM loans are lines of credit where they can continue to draw over time. And so we just have to review that actual balance each year to confirm what it is.
Okay. Yeah, I'll have to look more into that and talk to our property tax attorney, because I didn't know that information, or the double lien amount or any of that. So I've added that to the list of things to look into and get back to you guys on.
Sure.
Well, what's the language of the 1017? Doesn't it say what is the balance of your I mean, the clue should be in there. And I understand, I mean, the reverse mortgage is a different animal because the balance is going to be going upwards instead of downwards over time. But I'm pretty sure that, there's a whole lot of people that, based on the amount of the mortgage lien, would not qualify.
Well, no, in fact, the HECM rules got really tight after the 07-08 meltdown, where values were plunged and people owed more than the value of the house. HUD was stuck with a lot of claims, and so the algorithm, or the calculation now based on age and value of the house, produces a much smaller limit, sometimes 50, 55, 60% of the value of the home. So there may be a little room there on some of the newer HECMs. Older ones, the rules were different.
Right. So Aaron's got the form up there. The form says balance owed.
Yeah,
Yep.
I was just going to point out
that should answer your
2D.
question.
Well, and the other thing here, it says total home equity amount reserved for use under a reverse mortgage arrangement.
Look at the note 1 there. So
Okay.
some of the language in the reverse documents say that you can't add anything like this. So they may be violating the terms of their note by applying for the deferral program.
Yeah, and that's the other thing. While it doesn't, on our end, it doesn't prevent them from applying for the
Right.
program. As you can see in the note here,
Yeah.
their lender may not allow it. So,
Right.
That's going to be between them and their lender.
Yes.
Well, I think we want to avoid, getting people on this program if we know that their lender's just going to, redeem them out and add that amount to their mortgage. And, if their lender's going to essentially kick them out of it, then we might as well, cut that off before we go through the process and waste all the time and paperwork.
Right.
Just for a reverse mortgage is we're just going to accept the application without any proof that we don't need to know what their mortgage company thinks, if they're going to accept it. We're just going to assume that they know that, or we're going to tell them they have to find it out. Well, our information that we had before was that the state required to have the right of first lien, and that if their reverse mortgage company would not capitulate to that, then we were not allowed to give them that they couldn't submit their application, and that's the way we've been doing it. And in fact, I had one of our participants come in yesterday and say that he hounded his reverse mortgage company until they agreed to give the state the right of first lien. So we don't have to verify it. We're just going to ask them when they come in if they talk to their mortgage company, or we don't care. We're just going to let them apply.
Well, I think it's worth mentioning to them if there's a reverse mortgage indicated on the application, it's worth mentioning, hey, many or most of these reverse mortgages don't allow you to participate in this kind of thing. Have you checked with them, or we recommend that you check with them before you go through this process.
Yeah, I would say if there's an amount in 2D there, then that triggers the question of, hey, have you talked to your lender? Because as Kirk just said, a lot of these don't allow you to apply for this program.
Okay. Thank you.
And we definitely, I mean, we want to be in first lien position, but I don't know of anything. Well, now I've heard this twice now in the last couple months of people, trying to get their lender to allow the Department of Revenue to have first position. And I didn't know that was happening. And I don't think that is a necessary step that needs to happen. We are, we're second position or,
Yeah.
on some of these already. So that's just not a step that needs to be taken.
Okay.
So I'm speaking to you guys next month. I hope and assume I'll have answers before that I can share with you guys, but I have down here that I need to get more information on the certain subtractions line on the 1017. Also need to look into HECMs, and while I think it's based on the balance and not the lien amount, I do want to clarify that with our property tax attorney. Also going to look into potentially developing a letter to send to families whose when the participant has passed away, to let them know, you have 1 year and here's what the balance is and here's who you need to contact. And I'm asking that you guys, if you have a list or something that you can send of balances on properties in the program where they no longer own the property, and they probably aren't collectible. If you can send me any of that information, I can share that with the AG's office, and we can take steps on what to do there with those properties. Is there anything else that any other action items that you had for me, so I can make sure to get those done? Like I said, probably sooner, but if nothing else, I will talk to you guys about that in November when I speak to you guys at your conference. All right. Is there anything else you guys wanted to talk about in this roundtable? Anything we didn't cover, or anything that you would like more clarity on with this program? Once again, oh, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, on these two, the P-Tax 1305 and 1306, if we're just sending this is Bernie from DuPage, and I always send you my Angela's check every month. Do I have to send this form in every month, or is that letter I provide enough? Because I'm not asking always for liens, she's just making her payment.
Right. Yeah, and you guys don't even necessarily have to send it. Just make sure you provide all of the information that's on it, whether you use the form or you send us a letter or whatever the case may be. Because we have some people that, um, they use the date of our payoff letter as the payment date, whether that's when they received it or not. So just, like I said, the postmark date or the day they came into your office. There's not always a date. We're going by the date you wrote the check, and we just want to make sure we're giving the participants the credit for the exact date they paid it, um, and just things like that. So if you want to just include that information on your letter and not send in the form separately, that's fine too. But some of that is also just to let you guys know, you don't need to. Some of you send in, there's like a whole backstory on why they're paying it or why they need a payoff, and so and so died and this person came in and talked to me, and you don't need to spend your time telling us that, and we don't need that information. So we're just trying to let you know the important pieces of information that we need, and that way you guys aren't spending any more time than you need to deal with this program.
Perfect, thank you.
You're welcome. Yes, Leanne, I see you've got your hand up.
That was from before.
Oh, okay. Yes, just your arm must be getting tired. It's been up for a while.
I didn't know if I could take it off, so I just
Okay.
left it. Thank you.
You're welcome. I wanted to ask again, is there anything, any suggestions for the program, anything that you guys feel could be done better? I thought I'd get more of a response to that than I did. So I just want to give you guys another opportunity to tell me all the things I'm doing wrong.
Hey, Aaron, so I want to say, first off, this is Donna Kurtz, McHenry County Treasurer. I want to say this has been great. This is the type of interaction that honestly we don't get enough of from the state. So you're a leader in that way, and just the way the program provides so many opportunities for disadvantaged elderly is great. We love the program. Here is the question I have for you and for all the other treasurers that are here today, and that is, how do you get more people to understand the program? We've had workshops where we publicize, we do press releases, we do every kind of outreach we can. The program has only gotten better with the 3% loan. And it's simple interest, not compounded. So there's just so many cool things going on here. And yet we only have like maybe 130. And, we publicize it, and sometimes we see our numbers go down. So does anybody have any secret sauce? One thought was, maybe we get the packets out we have some kind of session with all the general assistants, township supervisors. So that's something. But any other thoughts would be highly appreciated.
Donna, this is Julie from Will County. Our assessor has workshops that they help their taxpayers complete their paperwork for their freezes, and they will take whatever we give them and promote it at their workshops. And all the township assessors also keep track of it for us, and they have bulletin boards. We print out the state's pamphlet. It used to be they used to provide those pamphlets to us, but now they have it on their website. We print that out. They send it out with their packet to all the seniors that are registered for their senior exemptions, all the seniors that apply for freezes. They will do that for us and include it in their packet. So all the seniors that are already out there in the program getting the freeze paperwork. Plus, when we fill out our paperwork and our worksheets with the seniors, if they're in applying for, and this is why they work with us, if they're in applying for this freeze, which they have to be seniors for, if they're not getting the senior exemption, which some are not getting it as well, we will call upstairs and work with them and let them know that we had a senior, they applied for the deferral, they're not getting any kind of senior exemption or the freeze, and they will then turn around and send out a packet to them with also our deferral paperwork in there. And all through the year that we talk to seniors, because they call us quite often because they didn't get it on their tax bill or something's missing, we also mention to them about the deferral, and we take their information, and then we will provide them with the paperwork. Even if they don't apply for it, they're like first-time seniors, we will send it to them when we get our stuff from the state, just to remind them that they have this program for them. So that's what we do at Will County. I don't know if it'll
That's
help.
great. And tell me, what kind of numbers do you have with participants?
I knew you were going to ask me that, and I mean, we've had as high as 100. We've had as low as 30. It all depends. It depends on, you know, the level of where they're at and how they, you know, qualify as far as the income comes. We have a lot that have been in the program for so long that they're getting close to their 80%. And so there have been times we've had to tell them they don't qualify, which is really hard to do, but we've had those. But we do have, our assessor works really well with us. The assessor has a meeting once a year. We bring it up in their meetings. So it's just a suggestion.
Thank you. That's a great suggestion. We're going to do that.
Thank you for bringing this up, because that is something I wanted to discuss, and I left it off my agenda. So I'm glad this topic came up. I know Ashley had told me, and I don't know if he's here. I haven't noticed his name, but that doesn't mean he's not here. But he had mentioned a lot of their applications are completed at the Senior Citizen Center. So obviously, you know, every county and every senior center may have a different capability of being able to do that, but that may be something that you look into as well. Just putting the, you know, as was stated, we don't mail out the pamphlets anymore. We do provide a PDF, but whether it's put some printouts of that there or the applications there or whatever, where more of the seniors may know the program exists, because we have you know, lobbyists and other people come to us frequently about changing things statutorily with the program to get more people in. And I keep telling them that I don't really think that the problem is the qualification, the salary and the age and things like that, or the income and age. It's more just getting people to participate who already qualify, rather than changing the qualifications, because I think, especially downstate, that I'm sure there are any number of people that make under the, you know, the qualifying level of income that are not, they may not even know about the program, let alone be in it. So the move to try to increase the cap on the income, I just think we need to do a better job of publicizing the program and trying to recruit participants to get in the program. And I understand it's a lot of legwork for you guys to take on these applications and everything, but on the plus side, you guarantee that the property taxes get paid that way. And I don't know how big of a problem that is for you, how many of these seniors don't pay, but that's one less senior you'd have to worry about getting a check from if they're in the program. So anything that and I've noticed the Department of Revenue now is putting out annual notices about, hey, it's time to apply for this, and our director, he speaks about it annually as well, but it's still you know, there's not enough people that know about it still, and whether you know, advertising more at senior centers and things like that is the way to do it, or what the case may be. I definitely think that there are a lot of qualifying people out there that don't apply for the program, and we need to find a way to reach those people and get as many people in the program that qualify as possible, because the whole point of this is to help these low income seniors out.
Right. Perfect. Thank you. Great input.
Oh, sorry, we'll add one more. In DuPage County, we send out letters to all of the centers of worship within the community and have them help us spread the word. Get information out there.
Yeah, Boone County as well has a tax-supported senior center, and they have people out there that help people fill out the applications, and they do a certain amount of promoting of the program as well. I'm a little bit guarded. You know, I hope I never see another real estate market like we saw between 2008 and 2014, when Boone County lost 30% of its value. But we had a number of participants that just ran out of equity because their house, their home value dropped so much. And, that leads to, difficult conversations. So, um, we, you know, we got to remember where, people are borrowing money. I get people who say, they don't want to do that because when they die, they want to leave their house to their kids free and clear. They don't want to leave their kids straddled with debt. So, um, we need to make sure that there's a reasonable amount of information available about the program. But I honestly, I don't promote it very hard here in Boone County. If you want to sign up, fine. If not, I'm fine with that too.
Aaron, I wanted to ask if the state has any limit on your budget on the program. I mean, we do a real good job promoting this, are we going to hit any caps, or what's the budgetary situation for the program?
That's a good question, and I don't know what they set aside for the program. I know that I don't think we've ever come near that cap, so that's probably a valid question to look into, but that's not something that we've run into yet.
We encourage a lot of people too to use the program, whether you want to hear this or not, but we tell them that if they sign up for the program, they can make payments through the program at probably an interest rate that's less than what it would be if they got sold at the tax sale. And if the taxes get sold at the tax sale, they can't participate in the following year because one of the restrictions is they can't have sold taxes. So we've also, because we have a lot of seniors that don't want to pay, or they don't want the lien on their property. They could have kids that don't even help them pay their taxes and they still won't defer. But we also encourage them if they're at a point where they can't pay it, but they know they're going to have the money eventually, to use it as a portal, so to speak, to avoid having their taxes sold. So I don't know if we're supposed to, or if it's a good, PR, but that's how we help the seniors on our end too.
Well, and one thing really quick before, I know people are starting to thank me and all that stuff, but I was going to kind of talk about this roundtable to you guys in November, for those that couldn't attend. And I'm not sure that while this was definitely valuable today, I feel like I don't know if there was a lot to discuss in November moving forward from this. So is there anything else you guys need an update on in November when I speak to you, since a recap of kind of action items that came from this is going to not take up very much time whatsoever? And you don't have to tell me now if you want to reach out. If there's, I'll give you guys an update on just allocations and tax revenues and things like that. Only 3 counties submitted ordinances for the grocery tax. I know, that's probably not going to impact you guys a lot because there's probably not a lot of retailers selling grocery items in the unincorporated parts of your counties. So I understand why we only got 3, but I know the last couple of times I've talked to you, we've talked a lot about the grocery tax, and that's not really going to be very topical for 99 of the 102 of you, and unless and until you guys find out that you were getting more money from grocery tax than you assumed, in which case you'll have another opportunity to send in an ordinance before April 1st to take effect July 1st.
Aaron, this is Liz from Jack.
Liz, you cut. I heard this as Liz, and then I haven't heard anything since then.
Mm-hmm.
Liz is muted.
All right, looks like you're unmuted now, Liz.
Mm-hmm.
She put it in the chat, Aaron.
Oh, okay. I'm gonna check that out now. Let me see the three. See if I can remember. It was I can't remember the three counties now that that submitted it. Katie, do you have that information in front of you?
Yeah, I'm pulling it up right now. I know that Jackson was not one of the counties.
I feel like it was Moultrie and Wabash.
Yeah, Moultrie, Wabash, and Washington.
Okay, so those are the only three counties that submitted ordinances. All right, does anybody have anything else? If not, I'll see you guys in November, and we'll get this recording sent out to you, shared with you, and that way any of your staff or any of the counties that couldn't attend will be able to access it. So
Aaron,
thank you guys for your time. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Stephanie.
Sorry, just real quick, food for thought. I was thinking, you talked about, maybe they'll pull this letter out at Christmas when their family's there in hopes that they talk about it. Is there a way for you to track? I mean, we'd be the data gatherer, but contact this person too. Like, I want you to send a letter to me, but my daughter, as I've aged, maybe she needs to be aware in case I'm forgetting or things are a way for you to, I think that would help your collection efforts as well. If somebody else is aware, that's maybe not getting further from the grasp of what's going on.
That's a good question and something we can try to look into. I'm not sure, if we would add something to the application or how we would do that, but that's probably not a bad idea. It's just more putting it into practice that may be tougher.
I know on our side, there's a P-tax form that they can fill out. Like if they're delinquent, then we send a second bill to somebody else saying, hey, they're delinquent, they need these taken care of. So just something along that context, maybe that would help your program and us, because then we get angry children when they find out about it because they didn't get talked to about it. So
right.
Just a thought.
Okay. It's a good thought. Thank you. And if anybody thinks of anything else, a question you forgot to ask or an idea you have for the program or when we send everything out and you start working through it and you're like, Aaron asked if there's anything they could do better and I didn't say anything, but now that I'm filling this form out, I realized that there is this one thing that they could do, hopefully only one, right? But yeah, if you guys, any point you guys have any other ideas or questions that pop up, you can contact us at any time. And we'll, if we don't have the answer, we'll get it for you as soon as we can. So thank you guys for the time today and for the good discussion and good questions. And hopefully this is helpful for the program and maybe something we can do again in the future if you guys think we need to do it. But like I said, I'll see you in November and we will share this recording with you as soon as possible. Thank you for your time.